facts. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
The views and opinions expressed on Trudging Together are solely those of the host, co-host, and our guests. They do not necessarily reflect the views of any organization, fellowship, or other entity, and definitely not your boss, your neighbor, or that one guy in your home group. The content of this program is not intended to replace medical, psychological, or professional advice. If you're looking for that, please seek guidance from qualified professionals who spent way too many years in school. What you'll hear here is based on lived experience, recovery journeys, and the occasional bad coffee-fueled joke. Trudging Together is not affiliated with any 12-step fellowship. We are simply people sharing our stories and walking this path together, one day at a time. Thank you for joining us. And remember, recovery is serious business, but that doesn't mean we can't laugh along the way.
It's Friday. It's Friday. What is up with this? You know, every day that I go and look at my search history by pressing, now it's Verizon outages, government shutdown, voting right. Aurora Borealis, geomagnetic storm, Bostic cell. I don't care about any of this. Why does it keep doing that? When is daylight savings time? I don't need any of that. Where's my stuff? All right. Give me some dad jokes. It's bullcrap. I mean, that is really, really, really wrong. It's really wrong. Wrong. Really, really wrong. Morning. Morning, Michelle. Morning, Angel. Introduce you to my new footwear for the week. There it is. My toeless blue boot that I get to wear for a week. Yeah. The nail was about a 1/4 inch grown into my toe. It was huge, man. And like that freaking big. It was that long. All the way down my big toe. But it had grown into my toe. Like that much. It hurt. Now they said the numbing agent that they gave me should work from 2 to 4 hours up to 24 hours. Yeah. It lasted about an hour. It already hurts. So it's all right. I'm gimping around. Now I'm walking even slower. Got a feeling I won't be getting much yard work done in the next week. It still isn't as painful as it was, though. I mean, even if it was touched, it was excruciating pain. It was so bad I would yell swear words. That's how bad it was. I'm taking it's a none of my fucking business view on a lot of things. Okay. And I am not altogether with it either. I got up at a very unusual time. I was up at 5:50 this morning. I've been up for 6 hours, 5 hours. That's bullshit. That is this bullshit, man. Just can't be set. Oops, lost. All right, and now it's back. Okay. I'm gonna have to switch computers today, or I'm not gonna be able to go live anymore. This is fucking ridiculous. My internet is down. What the? Jeebus. God. I hope you didn't hear me yell. All right. Well, we'll cruise through this. It may go down again. I don't know what's going on. But for some reason, my internet was like, yeah, I don't think so. In fact, this may not even be made. I got to double check, make sure the live is still even going, honestly. All right. Yeah. Okay, it is. All right. Let's go and get started. But yeah, all that's kind of bullshit. It is. I pay for this stuff, man. All right. You know what time it is? It's time for our daily jokes. I apologize for the lack of enthusiasm, but it is what it is. What do you call a fake noodle? An impasta. Hey, you're an impasta. You're an impasta. What are you doing? You don't know. Hey, Joey. Joey, take care of this impasta for me, would you? All right. Why couldn't the bicycle stand up by itself? It was too tired. Poor thing. Yeah, it was too tired. I'm reading a book on anti gravity. It's impossible to put down. This next one's actually pretty good. What's brown and sticky? A stick. I don't know why I'm enjoying that one so much, but I thought it was really. I love the obvious ones. A stick. I like this one. What's green brown has 4 legs and it'll kill you if it falls out of a tree? A pool table. Welcome to the Daily Trudge. Today we're talking about freedom of choice. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. The reading is going to be out of Courage to Change today, which is the Al-Anon Daily Reflection, something I utilize often. Gives us a reminder of things sometimes, but this is about freedom of choice, all right? And we tend to think it's just our freedom. No. Think of all the people that you tied down because of your alcoholism, because you needed this, because you needed that, because you need, and then they got to watch you. They got to do things like make sure that you're not sleeping on your back so you don't asphyxiate on your vomit. Staying up half the night wondering where you're at and what you're doing. We have no accountability. People don't know where we're at. So even the people around us get tied down by our addiction and our disease, especially the ones that love us the most. So there is a freedom for them too. Right? The alcoholism doesn't just affect the alcoholic, it engulfs anything good. Anything worthwhile in this life is going to engulf, chew it up, and spit it out. Ding! No. But the opposite could be true also. Now, here's the thing. You're going to feel freedom like other people do not. Why? Because you've been chained down for so long. I call it the warm blanket theory. All right. You wake up in the middle of the night, it's wintertime, and may your stepdad doesn't believe in heat and keeps it at 62 at night. All right. Which actually isn't that bad, honestly. Right? You wake up in the middle of the night, your blanket fell off. You're really good, and you woke up because you wake up, you're like, oh my God, I'm freezing. No wonder I was having dreams about icicles and playing in the snow. No wonder I was having dreams about taking the polar plunge. Right? And you grab your blanket and you put it over you, and then you get this real nice, cozy warmth. But you wouldn't have felt that warmth if you weren't cold in the first place. You wouldn't have felt the pleasure without the pain. Right? So you're going to discover, we call it a new freedom, because you have not had this freedom before. And that can be exciting. Just remember, you can't experience something new twice unless you have dementia. Then you might be able to get to do that. All right. Angel says, my parents did that. I got in trouble for turning up the furnace. My dad ended up, well, the man that raised me, he ended up getting one of those hot stoves, and it worked really, really well. So we could just throw some wood in there and it didn't turn, then we didn't get in trouble for the furnace and stuff. But yeah, even here, um, I am the elder male, so I run the thermostat. In fact, I just went and turned up the heat because my foot's cold. My foot is cold. Right? So that's kind of the explanation of my warm blanket theory. You may steal it if you like. I'm pretty sure I made that up, but there's just as good a chance that I stole it from somebody else. So, but if I did, I can't remember who it was. Right. So the thing is, when I first got here, I didn't have choice for a very long time. I didn't have the power of choice. I didn't really have the freedom of choice until that obsession was lifted. Then I started to have choice. All right. But at that point, so what is the choice? It's the first drink. And at this point in my recovery, that freedom of choice is the first drink. And I choose not to take it every single morning. I go to bed a recovered alcoholic. I wake up a hopeless, helpless drunk again. And I make the choice to go to God instead of going to the liquor store. That choice has power. It shows my intention for the day to God and the people around me. All right. Angel says, hope your foot heals quickly. I had some foot stuff this year too. No surgery, but might need in the future. My toes are crossing it. Mine was just a toenail growing in. So they just removed a third of my toenail is what they did. So, I have to put it in Epsom salt, things like that. But thank you. I appreciate that. Right? A lot of our promises have to do with freedom. We need freedom. Not only that, it's funny that I hear people say things like, well, when you go to AA, they tell you what to do, and and that we're bossy and that you have to believe in a certain guy. In fact, just the other day, somebody called me religious. Somebody that knows me, and it's still bothering me. It's still bothering me. I don't know why, but it is. Because I'm not. I don't like being called names. Do you like being called names? I don't like being called names. Okay. And calling me religious in my book is kind of calling me a name. I've never even read the Bible. I don't know what you're talking about. Have you listened to my lives? Have you? But then it was a comparison to somebody else. Oh, they're spiritual, and you're religious. And this person that we're talking about is like 2 weeks. So it's still bothering me. I need to let it go. All right, God, help me let that one go because there's nothing else I can do about it, dude. See, what am I doing? I'm utilizing my freedom of choice here. So, God, you're going to help me let that go. How I took it and how they intended it was different. Yeah, that's what it is. It's labeling, and that's why I didn't like it. I like being labeled. I like being told that I am something, even if you're right. I don't like it. And that's what I like about AA. People in AA don't tell me what to do. They don't tell me how to act. I think probably the most I've ever really heard is I would appreciate if people didn't swear so much in the meetings. That's probably the extent of something I've heard other people telling people what to do. I mean, it comes up every now and again, but that problem's usually solved pretty darn quick by the group. Oh, my pants are still rolled up. No wonder my ankle is cold, right? And so now we have freedoms, right? Not just the freedom of choice of the drink, but freedom of choice on where we get to go, how we're going to act, who we're going to be. These are all things in AA that we I don't want to say we allow you to have, but we don't have any say so on it. And we don't want any say so. Right? Okay. Now for me, I'm odd. I'm an odd duck. I always have been. I know I'm a little different from other people. In some cases, I'm a lot different from a lot of people. You know, now but that doesn't mean that I am terminally unique. It doesn't mean that I'm the only person going through these things in the whole world either. Okay. But I am reaching a certain stage in my empathy. I've been doing a lot of reading on Carl Jung and him talking about empathy and finding some things out. And, you know, after some experiences over this last week, I've decided that I'm going to keep letting certain people be in my life, but I'm not going to be emotionally available anymore. I'm not. I found a new boundary where I can do that. It's kind of a choice for me. Okay. They can still be around, but they're not going to get anything emotional from me until I see certain things in life, man. And that's part of what we need to do. And that is the freedom, that is the choice of freedom, or the freedom of choice. I told you I'm tired. My dyslexia is probably gonna be really bad. Think about taking a nap. I'm not. I got a meeting at 3 o'clock with CRC. That's what, 3 hours and 45 minutes from now. That's a long time from now. That's too long from now. All right, let's get to the reading here, though. And now remember, this is an Al-Anon reading, so but it's still going. You'll get it. It still applies to us, right? October 17th. As newcomers, many of us were surprised by the absence of rules in Al-Anon. Okay? And that's what it is in AA too. That's the thing. When people run around and say, "Oh, they tell you to do this, till you do that," I'm like, there are so few rules. I mean, if there was anything in AA, it's etiquette. Do we have etiquette? Sure, we kind of do the same. We tend to do the same things at meetings as far as opening, but each meeting is different. It's got different people in it. People are saying different things, different vibe. Okay. And what is all of that? All of that is the freedom of choice, that they get to be who they want to be. Okay. And that's how I know that it works, because I am an odd duck. I'm strange, man, and it's okay. All right. If you go to a meeting with me, I do not sit still for more than 10 minutes. If you say something and it is funny, you're gonna see it, because, and I overdo it. I don't always mean to, but part of it is that I know your brain cannot hear me laughing. And if you made a joke and nobody laughs, then your brain is searching for the next thing to say. But if people laugh at the joke, then it becomes natural and you just move forward. So if you see me doing that, it's actually me encouraging and supporting what it is that you are saying. I'll give you thumbs up. You will see me clapping. That's why I'm doing it. All right. Like when I crack jokes here, I don't know if you think they're funny. I can't see you. I assume that you're laughing, or you probably wouldn't hang out and listen to me all the time, right? These are all the freedoms in my life that I have. And it's nice. It's nice to have those freedoms. I didn't have them when I first got here. Nope. Everything was decided by alcohol. All right. Before we found recovery from the effects of alcoholism, a strict sense of order may have been our only way of feeling that we had some control. Now, for them, it's about control. Okay. It's a codependency thing. Hi, Claire. I'm reading from your favorite book, Courage to Change, today's daily reflection, if you want to follow along. All right. Naturally, we expected a program as successful Al-Anon to be even more rigid than we were. Now, here's the thing, and this is where even outsiders don't quite get it. Okay. AA has absence of rules, and recovery has absence of rules. Right. So when you get into these clinical things, oh well, what we need to do is we need to structure everything for you. And we have structure and discipline, but it's your structure and discipline. Okay. Some of it may be guided, but AA is less rigid than almost every other program out there, except maybe Celebrate Recovery. They're a little too less rigid for me. Great program, just a lot of crosstalk. But and there's nothing wrong with crosstalk as long as it's done the right way. And honestly, I don't think most people understand what crosstalk is. I really don't. But it's all right. But because a lot of times, even in the grassroots, I don't mean to crosstalk, sorry, but it's like, well, you thought you were crosstalking, but you're going to do it anyway. You're just going to apologize first. And then it turns into encouragement. Hey, it's when you interrupt somebody or directly talk against what they were saying. That's crosstalk. Nothing else. Might be some others. If so, please put them in chat so we can make sure we cover them. All right. So what is it? Why do we need these absence of rules? Okay. Let's go back to this. The only true diagnosis for alcoholism is self-diagnosis. It's the only true diagnosis for alcoholism. Yeah. Okay. Before that, you have alcohol use disorder. You have a drinking problem. You have a problem drinking. You're a heavy drinker. You'll be other things. But you are not an alcoholic till you say you're an alcoholic. It's the only way it works. Yeah. I cannot deem you an alcoholic. Now, if you say I'm so and so, I'm an alcoholic, now I'm just agreeing with you. Because in this program, self-diagnosis is one of the only diagnoses, but it's going to be covered. All right. Because alcoholics don't like being told what to do. But when somebody makes a decision themselves that is the right thing to do, then now we've got a solution. All right. Just like therapy. A good therapist is going to let you run your mouth until the answer comes out. They already know the answer. It's just they know that if they said it to you, it's going to go right over your head. You ain't going to hear it. Right? There's power in that choice. All right. Angel says, thank you for that definition. I plan to use that often. Good. Steal it. So these choices that we're making have substance behind it. They have intention. They have these other things. All right. And when you have the absence of rules, then we tend to get along. Otherwise, if we had a bunch of rules, this is what AA would be. You're doing that wrong. You're doing that wrong. You're doing that wrong. It'd be full of a bunch of mansplaining and unsolicited advice is what it would be if we had a bunch of rules. Yeah. We'd have bosses. We'd have leaders. We'd have these other things. And then it wouldn't work, would it? Because you wouldn't have the freedom of choice. Right? In in-person meetings, we get up and hold hands. You're not required to hold anybody's hand. If you want to be outside the group, bow your head and do it that way. And nobody's going to give you a lick of trouble for that. No one's going to give you a hard time. They say, oh, that's the way they do it. Awesome. So when we hear these complaints about things in AA, sorry, but I don't know that all of them are valid. I'm not saying things don't happen in AA. That's all I'm saying. But I don't think things happen, like people say, oh, people are always asking me to drink. Bullshit. It's either bullshit or you keep putting yourself in situations to where that happens. Either way, you're doing it to yourself or it's a lie. It's one of the two. And I know that because God doesn't test your sobriety. He's got better things to do with his time than test your sobriety and test you. No, he's better than that. Now, that's human beings doing that crap. Right? So, instead, as a newcomer, I was told that I was free to work the steps at my own pace. I could ask questions of anyone as they came up. And I think that's an important one, letting people know that they can ask questions. And here's the thing is in the beginning, you feel like you're 5 years old again anyway. So you're afraid to ask questions because you don't want to sound stupid. Right? Then somebody said to me, Dion, in AA, there are no stupid questions. There's only silly answers. And I stole that. And that's what I tell people now. There are no stupid questions, just silly answers. I'm going to ask this question. It's probably stupid. Don't say that. And especially don't say that to me, because the first thing out of my mouth is, first, don't call yourself names in front of me. Don't do that. There's no such thing as a stupid question. And I will give you a lecture for doing that. So just don't call yourself names in front of me. All right. No one was in charge, yet everyone was in charge. It seemed impossible, yet I could see it working more effectively than any organization with which I'd ever been involved. Yeah. Yeah. I think we handed out 2 cards while we were out and about. A couple nurses. Yeah, even while they were taking off my toe, I was talking about recovery. I think they were just distracting me, though. And they did a good job. But then it turned out that one of the guys that was in there, started talking about his son. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, he was up in a sober, because I brought up that I helped shut down, not helped shut down sober living, sorry. That, because they were asking, what's the problem? I'm like, sober living's and recovery coaching. And his son was in a sober living. I'm like, yeah, he started in one up in Aurora. I said, it was Hazelbrook. He's like, yeah, that was it. I said, yeah, and he didn't last very long there, did he? No. And then he went to someplace off 14th downtown. Yeah, Tribe. Yeah, he was a Tribe. I'm like, that was a much better fit for him, because this guy was in and out of jails, and the guys down at Tribe are mostly people that, help reintegrate people that come out of jail. Much better program for that guy. I'm not a big fan of the owner, right? But that's okay. I don't need to be. I'm like, now that's good. And he's like, and now he has a job and he does this. I'm like, see, you found the right one that fit for him. And that's what we're trying to do out here. The right fit for the right person. Right. And then he was talking so much that we were over, and the other nurse trying to take me back, and he just wouldn't stop running his mouth. Why? Because we're also easy to talk to. Right? All right. As I continue coming to Al-Anon, I'm learning to trust that the group is guided by a higher power who will be expressed in our group conscience. I was just trying to think when our group conscience was. When is our next group conscious? Last Thursday. That's not for 2 more weeks. Yay, I got plenty of time to prepare. All right. And that's where decisions are made. Yeah. That's and I don't know how the other groups work. Some groups won't let you vote unless it's your home group. We don't do that at Grassroots. It doesn't matter whether it's your home group or not. We want to hear what you have to say. Because I'm not going to cut somebody out and not hear what they have to say, because we may need it. God may be talking through that person this time. I don't get to decide all that. All right. So it doesn't matter. As long as you are a member of Alcoholics Anonymous, then you are welcome to join that group conscious and vote. But we're not taking votes on anything outside of our group. So, because otherwise we'd be double dipping in votes if we were voting on like if we're voting on like the plain English big book. Did you ever get to vote on that? Did you ever get to vote? It's because it never happened. One thing I'm a little, anyway. All right. I watch your traditions in action, guiding us by suggestions rather than by rules. And I learned to trust my fellow members, each of whom contributes to the well-being of our fellowship, where no one person is in charge. No, we all have a job to do. Whether absolutely we only vote once when it comes to world service stuff. Absolutely. Right. And that's where you need to be. It needs to be your home group to vote on that stuff. So, yep. So, I was just wondering if anybody here took a vote on the, because every single person here has enough time that they would have been around that when the vote happened, because the vote would have happened like 2 years ago. So anyway, but I don't remember the vote, but I also go to a lot of Zoom meetings, so I'm figuring maybe I just didn't know. So no one person is in charge. We all have stuff to do, even if you're just a person that's new, and you can't have an AA meeting without other people there. So every person that goes to the meeting counts for something. We all have our different reasons for being there. We're all doing different stuff. All right. But without the culmination of several people in the group, it's hard to keep an AA meeting running. All right. So today's reminder: if I take on service responsibilities in my group, it does not mean that I now run the show. No, in fact, it means the opposite. Okay. I am a servant. Okay. I'm a leader, but not in AA. In AA, I'm a servant. I'm okay with that. Even if it's a leadership role, but even then, it doesn't need it. It doesn't need leadership. Everybody's a founder. So therefore, everybody's a leader. Either everybody's a leader or everybody's a follower, one of the two. Yeah. But none of us are one. All right. Today, I'll remember that the ultimate authority is a higher power who works through us all. Our group as such ought never be organized, but we may create service boards or committees directly responsible for those that they serve. Tradition 9. Tradition 9. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. I'm going to go take a nap. I love you. You know I do. Peace out.